Hey, my name is Dr. Dino Pappas. The views in this video are my views and my views alone. These don't represent the views of any organization or entity that I may be affiliated with. This vlog is about pain to performance for runners. COVID is circling through the United States, but some states are trying to slowly release the restrictions. And as such, I'm seeing more runners running through my community, more runners taking to the track. Inevitably, that will occur as the months get a little bit warmer, the restrictions start to ease, more distance events, and more runners will be out and about. So I want to give you a couple tips to prevent the inevitable injury that occurs. So first thing, I'm going to pose a question. Is running a dangerous sport, right? You may think that running is not football. There's no head trauma, no acute trauma to like the knees, hips, or shoulders. It's not wrestling. It's not mixed martial arts. It's not even basketball, where the risk of serious injury from trauma is increased. But runners by frequency have between, according to the best research, 30 to 70% chance of injuring themselves, a training injury that keeps them from running in any given year. So while the catastrophic stuff is typically not associated with running, by number of people, sheer number of people, running would then present itself as a quote-unquote dangerous sport. You're more likely to suffer an injury because of the context of running. It's a repetitive stress or repetitive motion injury where you're controlling your body weight versus gravity over and over and over again. Again, those impact forces. So I just want to throw that tidbit in there a little bit. And that's why it's important for the next point. The number one reason why runners get injured is training errors, mistakes in how you conceptualize training, how you prepare for training to run. So I want to go over a couple of things in those subcategories of training errors for running. So too soon. Runners often get started on an endurance program, marathon training, 10K training, half marathon training, and they commit to it, which is great, but they embark on it without a preparation time. If you're an athlete, you have a preseason that gets you ready for your in-season. Runners just start going without ramping up and preparing their bodies sufficiently. Especially in these times of COVID when people have been a little bit more sedentary, I want to recommend a slow 6 to 10 week transition of getting your body ready before you embark on a marathon or half marathon training program. Too much. They're at peak mileage. Peak mileage is often when you start getting into that 30 to 50, 30 to 60 miles per week range. They're in that peak for too long. Consistently, they're hammering out mileage and mileage and mileage and mileage. And then weeks later, an injury finally creeps on up. So the number one risk factor is a couple weeks prior. If you've been consistently hammering the miles, a month from now, 2 months from now, that may catch up with you. Runners often ask, well, why did I get injured? We look at their training logs. A couple weeks prior or a month prior, we see the mistakes that ultimately lead to the injury. The analogy is you're a car that has bad tires. You may be able to drive on those tires now, but 1 month from now, 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, eventually that catches up for you, that those bad tires lead to bad things happening with that car. Too little. Lack of a proper taper. At the end of the program, I usually recommend about a 30-day taper with a decreased volume and decreased intensity, getting them ready for race day. Why 30 days? Because your heart and your skeletal muscles release enzymes when they're undergoing destruction or when they're challenged. Those enzymes last in your body anywhere between 30 to 45 days for the cardiac and skeletal enzymes. So you want about a 30-day taper to bring your body down so your body can clear those enzymes so that you're fresh on race day. Too intense. Runners are motivated folks, typically good-natured, motivated folks, and they want to go, go, go. Well, being all out all the time is a path to burnout, as a path to injury, and it's a path to performance on race days. Remember, there are runs what you should be at your recovery pace, runs that are at your tempo pace, and also runs that should be slightly faster than your tempo pace, but do not go all out all the time. That's a path to burnout, injury, and poor performance. And last thing, they're too focused. They see running itself as the solution to get faster, but they forget about cross-training, which gives your body a break. They forget about strength training, one of the best ways to performance enhance, increase your performance, reduce injuries, and running efficiency, which is a key measure of performance, is strength training. They forget about that. If you can't control your body weight in a squat or a single leg squat one time correctly, how do you expect to run a marathon or make it through running training for a marathon safely? So they forget to strength train. They don't have recovery days. It's go, go, go all the time. And the last thing they forget to work on, mobility work. Key and critical are the hips and ankles for runners. I'm Dr. Dino Pappas. This is a Pain to Performance blog. Let's see you out there on the trail safely and effectively once this is all over with. Thanks.